Hello and welcome to the first of, well, I'm guessing going to be 40 podcasts as we do 40 seasons, 40 weeks. Starting off with the Winter 2010 season, which was kind of a bad season for you after going through it.
Well, yeah.
Like the
That's
big,
true of a lot of seasons for me, though, honestly.
I think from because we did some preliminary look throughs them, and this one was particularly bad for you. Like, for me, I have Durarara. And
Yeah, I have... Ooh, I'm trying to think. If someone was like, no, you must pick one or I will stab you in the face.
And you're not allowed to choose the ones that aired from last season. So no Hanasakeru Seishonen.
Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, oh, wait, I could say that, but that wouldn't save me. I don't know. I didn't like
Hanamaru
it.
Kindergarten?
I mean, it was okay, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is true of a lot of things, to be fair.
Durarara was special for me.
I was going to say...
Yeah.
I should probably just let you have your moment with it.
With Durarara, I specifically remember it was the first time I got a Crunchyroll account.
Okay.
Because before then they didn't have any...
2010.
Yeah, well, they didn't have things available in my region. Like, it was only started
Oh, that's right.
It only started in 2008 as when it went legit.
Yep, I got an account right away.
Yeah, well, it was for me, I went to get an account, realised they had nothing available, and was like, well, never mind. But then they got Durarara, and I actually remember even sitting there and watching the numbers tick up.
On views?
Not on views, no. Sorry, for the 5 minutes until it actually airs.
I know what you mean.
I sat there and watched the numbers. That's how excited I was for Durarara.
Lordy. That's like how I used to, well, but I'm hopping ahead a bit. I was going to say with Shiki, but I'll talk about that in the summer. But
Yeah.
I remember refreshing the page, and this was when Funimation put their stuff on Hulu, and refreshing the page like on Thursday nights and being like, is it out? Is it out? But
In retrospect, Durarara ultimately wasn't as good as Bakano, which is why I was excited. And man, the sequel was... It was still good, it was just clearly made under, not under duress, but under
tricky circumstances.
less budget,
Not ideal.
rushed production. But I still like that show, I still like Shizuo Izaya, Celti. It's still cool. It still makes me want to go to not Ikebukuro. It is Ikebukuro.
Yeah, it is Ikebukuro.
It makes me want to go to Ikebukuro and stand in front of that love sign that
We might be staying there right by the station.
Yes, in that case we got to go see the sign, and then I got to slump against it like Shizuo just punched me against it.
Well, I guess I'll have to let you do that, even though, in all honesty, I didn't like Durarara. And I did try it. I watched 10 episodes. I thought the first episode was pretty good, although...
You're thinking of the second episode, the one of the girl when it ends with her on a motorbike?
The first episode?
No, I think that's the second.
No, I swear it's the first.
The first one is of Mikado being shown around, do you remember?
I think that's the second episode.
Who's the Durarara?
I know, but I could swear it was because I wrote about it, even.
Because the first episode is Mikado being shown around because he gets off at the train station.
See, but I think if that had been the first episode, I wouldn't have watched anymore because I didn't think it was very interesting.
But it was also clearly like an introductory episode, like here's all the characters, so you can kind of give it a pass.
We'll have to look it up later because I don't want to pause to do it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, whether it was the first or second episode, I thought that was pretty good. I think the authors actually had a pretty good grip on what he was writing about in that case. And I remember, though, a lot of people being like, ooh, but why did she, do a makeover if she's just going to kill herself? And I was like, well, but
Whereas I found the episode it was the next episode that had Shizuo appear that I was all on board.
Well, anyway, I didn't like it, but...
Yeah.
I didn't like it because... Oh, there's a lot of reasons, but I guess the short version is I didn't really like its handling of its female characters, and what ultimately drove me off the show completely was the fact that...
The toxic relationship?
Yes, between Celti and the doctor, where he's
awful.
Where she's like, I've been looking for my head for hundreds of years.
I've been hiding it for you.
And then it's like, I've been hiding it, instead of her being like, wow, fuck you and fuck the horse you rode in on. She's like, I'm angry, but I'm not because I'm in love with you. And I was like, I'm done.
To be fair with the show, they've never presented that as being positive.
But it's still...
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't been enjoying this anyway. I'm good. I'm checking out now. I'm exiting stage left. Why did this keep getting sequels? And Bakano, which even though I didn't finish it, seemed a much better work.
Because no one in Japan cared about Bakano. Anyway. Winter 2010 was also the start of the anime Mirai. Oh no, was that what it was called? I'm now suddenly dating myself.
Yes.
Anime Mirai time slot, starting with Sound of the Sky, Sora no Woto.
AKA that show where they pissed themselves, except they didn't.
To be fair, that was a episode in the middle that only gets remembered for that reason.
Oh yeah, what else would they remember it for? Oh hey, there was this episode in which this girl was trying not to piss herself, but someone else went to the market. Which one is going to be remembered? I have no idea what else happened in the episode. I'm just, that's my example.
I still see people who swear by this show, which is...
I know, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, but what I find interesting with the Anime Mirai project is it cancelled after 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then apparently Madoka was something that they made learning from Anime Mirai. And I just think, boy, how different would that time slot's future been if Madoka aired in it?
Yeah. I suppose the thing I find interesting about the time slot is that the first 2 of them both had to do ultimately with, well, I guess the next one wasn't... The first 2 both intersected with warfare to a degree. The third one, though, I think was the one that was like...
Flying Panthers.
Yes.
We'll get to that when it comes.
I can picture her dress. Anyway, but, there were also some pretty infamous items that season, but I guess we should talk about something first that wasn't infamous.
AKA the most beloved Precure.
Yeah, Heartcatch.
Which have been going on, Precure's been going on for, at this stage, 2004, 2003?
I think it was 3.
I think it looks older than it actually is, the first season. It's got a slightly dated style that works really well for it.
Well, but at the same time, I'm not sure. But a lot of kids' shows looked like that.
I guess so.
Let's face it, usually kids' shows aren't, with some exceptions, the kids' shows aren't usually the ones that get the primo production treatment.
Until
Think of
Heartcatch.
Studio Pierrot, for example.
Yeah. Until Heartcatch comes out and is animated like a giant robot show.
Well, I was going to say, of course, at the moment, the primo example would be Gegege no Kitaro's current TV series.
Yeah.
I think it'd be difficult to find one that matches quite the level of care and effort put in. But
Heartcatch would be one of them. Because I think that was the thing. It set the career forward of Rie Matsumoto.
But I think it's not necessarily... I think part of it is, too, simply who they hired to do it. Not necessarily like this has to be a prestige work.
True.
If that makes sense.
It's clear it had a style going in and committed to it and looks fantastic as a result. Character designs and everything.
Too bad I didn't like it. Nor did you, apparently.
No, it's probably... I went through a weird phase where I watched all the Precures. Which was in 2010... it was after Heartcatch. It was during Smile Precure, which was the one that comes after Heartcatch. I went through a weird phase and watched all the Precures until I got bored of them, which didn't last very long.
I think you should probably specify that you don't mean you watched them all to completion.
No, I watched until I got bored.
Bits and pieces.
Which was usually about 6 episodes. But Heartcatch, I got to about 20 episodes, so...
I wouldn't say, though, that was necessarily a ringing endorsement on your part.
No, it had a fantastic second ending song. The one where they all go hallelujah.
I mean, I don't remember. I watched 10, 11 episodes of it. I watched a few when it first came out, and then I went back to it later. And I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I don't think it's bad. It just didn't do anything for me.
Oh, man.
Which, we're probably going to have the angry Precure fans with torches at our doors soon enough for that, but...
I should make the ending song to this podcast. The hallelujah as they're doing the dance, because all the dances in Precure. Anyway.
So I guess no, I'm sorry, what did you call it? The meme song? still haven't gotten over that.
I am in trouble for calling Initial D music meme music.
It's not that you're in trouble, it was just sort of like that feeling of someone stepping into your grave, I guess. It made me feel old.
Speaking of memes, actually these aren't memes, these are just the infamous shows you were talking about.
Yes, the infamous ones. You know, we do actually have a decent stable of the infamous because, you know, I really am just going to mention 3 of them in the same breath because I think you have to. Dance in the Vampire Bund, which, you know, at this point, I think most people just remember it as, you know, it's the punchline to jokes about getting arrested by the FBI.
Listed alongside Prisma India.
Yeah. Seikon no Quasar, which is the sort of show I feel like even now, if I were to sit down and say to a newer fan, like, hey, so there was this show and it revolved around sucking of boobs as power-ups and like nursing imagery, as in nursing a baby. I think that people would sort of give you a look like you can't possibly be telling the truth. How could that be real?
It did get one upped later on by Manu Hikensho, but we'll get to that.
But that's... No, I still think Seikon no Quasar kind of takes the cake. Look, lactation fetishes, even now, are pretty niche.
I guess. I did watch the first episode of Seikon no Quasar, but it was censored. So, because it's so extreme, all they did for the censoring scenes was zoom in on someone's face. So you just got this really blurry picture of someone pulling this like duh face, while someone's going, stop, my, and it's like, what the hell is happening?
What's going on in this scene? You know, someone even licensed the manga in North America at one point. I don't think it sold very well. Like I said, lactation fetishes are pretty niche. I do remember, even for the sort of show it was, it had a uniquely horrible male lead.
Yeah.
He was an asshole.
How much did you watch?
Oh, like 3 or 4 episodes. It was sort of like, you know, you're looking and you're like, I can't fucking believe what I'm seeing and I can't look away. Holy shit. Wait, this thing's 24 episodes? Holy
They made a second season.
Did they?
Yeah, they made a second season.
I just know there were some really porny OVAs, but, you know, that's what it was to begin with. So, moving on from lactation fetishes, I'll just dispense with Chew Bra pretty quickly. If you're not familiar with Chew Bra, it was a show about middle school girls who really loved bras, shopping for bras.
It was an educational program about underwear and why it's important for young women.
Okay, that shit did not air in the educational block, okay, on NHK. It wasn't like, oh, on NHK and we're going to learn about bra fittings this week. No, that was weird.
And then there's Baby's First Harem, which is Ladies versus Butlers.
Yeah, I think that was Baby's first harem for a lot of people.
Everyone was very shiny in that show.
I remember, I feel like there were some enormous thighs, and some people discovered they were really into thighs, as I recall.
Maybe I should go back and watch the show.
You just look at my thighs.
I can watch Sleeping with Hinako.
Part of the esteemed Training with Hinako series.
God, remember that.
Yeah, it's, if you're not familiar with it, it's, this whole series was,
workout videos?
In a way it was a yashike. It's like, I'm going to show you how to do this thing. So the first one was training, so that was a little more intense, and she's like showing you how to do exercises. But then it just went like with sleeping with Hinako and bathing with Hinako.
I'd call it closer to porny ASMR.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
You know, there are manga that are like this, where it's like, here are some ways to stretch your shoulders with cute girls showing you how.
I actually watched a random OVA like a lot more recently that was that. But it was like a tuney girl saying it all. Like, this way you will gain the powers of something or other. And I was like, this is weirdly...
Yeah, I feel like Sleeping with Hinako is a lot more sedate.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we can go to sleep. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. It is just sleeping. Like, there's no sex. There's a lot of boob jiggle, but...
Yeah. So one thing that's unique about this season is it's one of the few seasons where we'll actually talk about stuff that aired the previous season, because otherwise we won't get a chance. Otherwise, stuff that started in 2009 but ended in 2010.
Never ended.
Or never ended. Like
it's still going on to this day, like Chicken Papa.
Chicken Papa was a random thing we discovered. It's about a chicken.
I'm really mad I didn't know about it before. It is Chicken Papa. He's a papa, but he's also a chicken.
Anyway, so
That's the only description we found.
There's a bunch of stuff. Some things we'll pass over and talk about later, like Full Metal something or other.
Full Metal something or other.
Brotherhood.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll pass over that for now because that's kind of a big one. There were a few other stuff, like we both watched. No, you watched Railgun.
I watched about half of Railgun several years later because it was on Hulu, and someone had described it as police procedural.
Police procedural with lesbians.
I mean, at least one of them is, but she could use some lessons on good touch versus not.
Okay.
But yeah, someone described it as being that way, and that sounded up my alley, so I did loop back to it, but I didn't finish it. I liked it. It's not that I meant to stop watching it. It
seems like one of those shows that did actually continue to attract, like, even casual fans. Like, I've heard of a usual number of casual anime fans who were just into Railgun, and always more so than Index.
I think Index has.
Haters.
I feel like Railgun has a lower. Index seems weebier to me in a sense.
Yeah.
Index herself seems like the sort of thing that if you're not really into anime would be potentially really repellent in a way that Railgun isn't quite.
Yeah,
or rather in
so.
Railgun, because the character who most approximates this is so anime and it's hurting my soul is not one of
the main character.
I mean, she isn't the main character, so whereas
Also,
Index is pretty key to the.
Yeah. Cross Game was another thing that ended this season, which was a 50-episode show, which was basically the exact same thing as Touch, since Adachi can apparently only write one show. But it was really good.
He writes them well,
He writes
so
them
at
very
least
well.
he's capable of.
Yeah.
There are certainly people out there who keep turning out the same old garbage again and again.
He keeps writing the same basketball story that's actually quite good.
Baseball.
Baseball, sorry.
Oh my god, basketball.
No, we'll get to...
Whew, people are going to have an issue with that mix-up.
Kabato was something we actually both watched.
Yeah, the first half sucked.
The first half
It
does
was
suck.
so boring.
I really liked the last 6 episodes.
There were like 2 episodes in the first half, which are pretty solid. But oh my god, that might be one of the worst first halves of the show I ultimately liked that I've seen.
Was Kabato the last relevant Clamp series? Gosh.
I mean, that got an adaptation?
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, what even's gotten that? What even...
Well, I mean, there were some Holic OVAs later than this date.
That's the thing.
But that's, yeah.
Wow, Clamp. God, the average anime fan nowadays probably doesn't know much about Clamp.
No. Oh, we're actually missing a big old one, and that's kind of silly of us.
What?
Cardcaptor Sakura, Clear Card.
I feel like no one watched that.
Enough people watched it that Crunchyroll's website kept getting broken on airing days. I don't think it seemed to not have done. It didn't. So people didn't seem to like it a lot. Oh no, believe me. Well, I don't know if the DVDs and Blu-rays have sold well, but the manga itself has sold pretty well. It's just people didn't seem to dig the adaptation very much.
Oh well.
I'll be honest, I kind of wish they just left well enough alone, but that's me.
Anyway, now you get your chance to talk about Hanasaku Seishonen.
Hanasaku Seishonen, which was... Look, they just don't make shoujo like this anymore. If you like melodramatic, ridiculous shoujo with reverse harems that are just... Look, one of the love interests in the show, the lead... thinks that he's the reincarnation of her dead leopard that she loved. And this is to her a positive thing about the guy. She's like, oh, he's my... She thinks of this snow leopard and she sees him. She's like, I must talk to this guy. The other thing that's really nice about it, though, is that if you're kind of... So many of these Otome game adaptations now, which seem to have taken a good chunk of the market, well, they're sort of fulfilling that spot that shoujo romance is used to. And so many of them still have really useless leads who don't have any sort of...
the dead-eyed expression I associate
Yeah, you
with
know,
them.
Amnesia is sort of the classic bad example. The lead in Hanasakura Shonen is just, she does her own thing. She's not really that interested in being... It's not... So she's a really rich girl, but it's not that she carries it off as a spoiled thing. It's like, I see this thing, I want it, I'm going to do what I can to get to the point I want.
I mean, nowadays, if you want those kind of power, you look to the red-haired fantasy shoujo series, like Snow White Red Hair and...
Yeah, but...
What's the other one?
Yona of the Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But Hanasakura Shonen's ridiculous, and those shows are.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I love Han. Please, Hanasakura Shonen, and I'm pretty sure it's still on Crunchyroll. God, people are going to accuse us of being shills at a certain point.
Yeah.
If you like melodramatic shoujo series, you should check it out. It's 39 episodes. Yeah, so loved it.
There's a bunch of other stuff that ended. Like, I actually watched a bunch of Letterby. I blogged Letterby. It had some really nice art.
As your dingo, I feel this tightness for you. Or whatever
it had some very nice art. I actually really liked some of the art and character designs in it.
I liked the way it looked.
It looked great.
Like the nighttime scenes.
Well, the whole thing's nighttime scenes.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be the case.
It looked really nice, but yeah.
But that dingo didn't wear underpants.
Kimi Todoke, which I don't think is really something either of us were into.
No, I did. No.
It was really big in its day, though.
I mean, Mamiko Noto voiced the lead, and that was kind of nice because I like her voice.
Yeah,
but,
we don't get
and
her
you know
much
what?
now.
I also. The problem is, the lead was so like herself.
Yeah.
But her friends were great. I loved her friends, but they weren't the leads. And of course, you know, how many shoujo series have a teacher who says, "Y'all better go home and shit. It's late."
It was also the last time Inuyasha was relevant, back when it got its last seat. Because that was a show that fell out of fandom in a way that a lot of those shows kind of didn't.
God, I still swear though, I don't know, I still feel like because it was
huge once upon a time.
Everybody's seen it who's of a certain age, even if they didn't like it. Sort of like I never dug it really, but I absorbed episodes because it was always running on Cartoon Network. But yeah, this was, they finally, when the manga wrapped up, went back and did the final bit and wrapped the thing up in 26 episodes. I watched the first episode. I'll say this. It was damn good looking.
Was it?
Yes. I was like, oh, this shit looks great. Well, of course it was. It had been such a huge smash success.
I wonder if Bleach will become what Inuyasha is now. In the sense of like, oh God, remember when everyone was really into that show?
Isn't that sort of true of Bleach already?
You might be
Hilariously,
right,
I first saw Bleach fan subbed with subs from the group IY Forever, which was short for Inuyasha Forever.
Wow. There's something. Let's go back to the actual winter 2010 season.
I was going to say, I think you want to talk about Sunred?
Oh, no, I never saw Sunred. I just know that there were people who were really into that show, and it's one I've always meant to go back to.
But didn't.
No. Well, instead, I watched a bunch of Bakatsu Test, which is more relevant now.
What a bad decision. What a bad decision. Never really... To me, it always seemed like a second-run show, so its massive popularity never really made sense to me.
I mean, he went on to do Grand Blue Dreaming, which is better.
Well, I mean, I like Grand Blue Dreaming, although I feel like I shouldn't admit that.
It's pretty stupid.
Anyway.
Ukami Kakushi.
Okami Kakashi.
Sorry. Which was when
So I watched a few episodes of that.
That was when everyone jumped off the Ryushiki 07 train. When everyone was on it during...
Oh, yeah, because they just want... Yeah.
Because everyone liked Higurashi.
I wish it had been better because it had the makings of it, but it really wasn't that great. Yeah. I want to say there was something about oranges in it, but that's kind of all I remember. It was like, we have the new half of town, the old half of town, the old half of town. Shit happens there. Anyway, I think that's enough about that one.
As the Gundam fan, have you seen Unicorn?
I haven't seen all of it. Isn't that terrible, even at this late a day?
I know, I've only seen one episode.
I've seen 2.
Oh, God. Well, we're going to be recording these over a while.
You know what? In our defense, though, the fact that they took so long to put it out.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. It was like, I want to watch.
6 years.
I want to watch this, but I don't really want to start it until they have it and this and that. We own it on DVD completely.
I have a funny story about Hanamaru Kindergarten.
Okay.
Shinmaru was who used to blog for thecartdriver.com, as well as Umai Kaihen. He went to a con in which they showed this as a trailer, and they opened it up with like, by the studio that did Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann, and by the director of Full Metal Alchemist comes Hanamaru Kindergarten, lots of happy kids, and everyone went, oh.
Yeah, it was fine. I just never finished it.
I liked that it had a new ending for every episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was pretty cool.
Let's see.
I am very happy Cobra the animation exists because it introduced me to the world of Cobra and all the wonderful butts.
I guess I'm just glad Cobra exists as a thing, period. So, like when you were saying, "Oh yeah," I'm saying, I'm like, I'm just glad it's a thing.
No one else watched that. No one watched that new Cobra, but I'm so happy it exists.
I swear you used to be able to watch it on one of the streaming sites, but Katana Gatari, I still haven't seen that.
No, I
feel like a slouch.
Because I really like the Monogatari series, but Katana Gatari never did anything for me. It felt like that was a sleeper hit, like not a hit even. It was never even a hit, but it was like barely anyone watched it as it came out because it was like one episode a month and they were hour long.
Yeah.
But then it aired on Noitamina, and that made a bunch of...
I don't know that was it being simulcast anywhere? I don't think it was.
So I remember it actually, they ran it on Noitamina later on. That brought it back into people's minds, and then people got really into it.
I know it's something that I periodically see people like tweeting about, oh hey, we're gonna watch this together, right? We're gonna rewatch it together, right? So so not that I thought it Hetalia.
Oh, World Series.
This wasn't the first series.
No,
this was World Series, one of the sequels.
Man.
If we want to talk about stuff that's fallen out of fandom, I think Hetalia is a pretty prime example. It is also something that aged really poorly, which...
It was also the series that gave me my start in blogging, really.
Yeah.
So I can never be too sad. I can never be too mad about Hetalia.
It's not that I'm mad or sad or anything about it, although I would say that introducing... Man, God, there were a lot more Nazi cosplayers after that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not that it was the only guilty party, because there have been a lot of those series over the years. But it was definitely a completely different population
Any
from
show
usual.
in which the fandom contains a not insignificant number of Holocaust deniers is a fandom that I was like, I don't want any part of this anymore.
Yeah. But
the last season that Nadame aired, Nadame Cantabile, which I think by that stage everyone kind of forgot about Nadame. Which I felt bad because it was quite good.
I had a Japanese TA in college who loved it.
The anime? Or because I know a lot of people...
Oh, yeah, she loved the anime.
Because I know a lot of people who were actually really into the drama more so.
Yeah, she probably liked that too, but I remember her in particular talking about liking the anime. But,
I am the only person on the planet that likes the Darker Than Black second season, and in turn really likes the OVA, because I think it fills a lot of the gaps that the second season didn't make sense. However, I am alone on that, so...
The second season's just... yeah, look, there are way too many pedos, okay? Just gonna put that one out there.
And the less said about either of these movies, the better. Let's just pass them by.
Oh, you didn't like them?
No. Oh. No one likes any of these movies.
I never finished the TV series anyway, so...
The TV series is one of my favorite anime of all time.
Then, if we're talking about stuff no one liked, well, maybe at the time. I don't actually remember what the reception was to Fate Stay Night and Limited Blade Works. I just know at this point probably no one watches it because the TV series came along.
As soon as Fate Zero came along, everyone forgot about old Fate Stay Night. Everything pre-Fate Zero just stopped existing in terms of anime.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. There was a movie called Welcome to the Space Show that no one watched. I remember nothing about it. I remember nothing about it. There's the Time of Eve movie, which I still kind of consider that a 2008 show because that thing kind of came out on Crunchyroll as like an ONA. But most people think of it as the movie. I remember
the Kickstarter.
I backed that.
Sorry.
I backed that Kickstarter. I actually have some stuff from it.
Man, back in the days when our eyes were full of stars.
Yeah.
And Kickstarters.
Time of Eve is fantastic.
Let's face it, though, probably the big one of the year was Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya.
It's probably the biggest thing in this whole list. It's probably even bigger than Durarara.
Then Dancing the Vampire Butt.
Oh, Disappearance. Like
I didn't like Haruhi, so I watched no opinion.
There's some like I don't really remember anything about it. I remember these really like long, very quiet scenes of Kyon standing there holding his head, thinking, "What the hell is happening?" But
I guess I was under the impression that, sort of like the much later TV series, was it like the Something of Nagato Yuki?
Oh yes.
I was under the impression that it was another one where it was like, I love Nagato Yuki in this version that actually is pretty different from the original.
Oh, yeah.
I love this character that they've changed everything about.
Yeah. Disappearance was...
I
think Disappearance was ranked like number 1 on MAL at some point.
I certainly won't deny that. It's a polished production. I just didn't like... I've never liked Haruhi Suzumiya, so...
Haruhi, this kind of where Haruhi ended. I know they did, you saw about the Disappearance of Yuki Nagato, but this was where Haruhi just... This was the last time Haruhi fans got anything.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, because I'm thinking about, at what point did people essentially realize that, we're not getting any more?
It was a long time after this. I know I don't like Haruhi, but I feel like I see increasingly like number of people talk about how, God, remember when Haruhi was the biggest thing?
I'm so glad we're past that point.
Endless 8.
I'm glad we were past the point where everybody was pissing themselves over Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yeah.
But I realized that I'm in the minority among fans my age on that, maybe. Oh, I don't know at this point. I just know, though, that whenever I see people like, how could you not know what this is? It's like, why would they know what it was at this point?
Mei in Overwatch had the Haruhi dance.
Yeah.
Which was...
a lot of people didn't recognize.
Yes. That's maybe where... It still has a place, but I feel like the dance... I feel like not a lot of people even remember what it's about. They might even know of Endless 8, but yeah, Disappearance.
It's about a bunch of people getting jerked around by an abusive girl, basically. If we want to be really uncharitable, which I am willing to be, but... it's kind of... But to get back to the season taken as a whole, I think it'd be easy to say that for you, Durarara's the one.
Durarara's the one, yeah.
And I don't have a one. If we talk about solely that season.
Yeah.
I liked the second half of Kobato a lot. And I liked it, certainly, I liked some of the decisions it made over what the manga went with, because the manga pasted a happy smile on a little more. I think that the Kobato anime was a bit more ambiguous about some of the things that happened in a way that was a positive move. Granted, one of those was not being... So, spoilers for the end of the Kobato manga, but... So, Kobato, actually spoilers for the end of the show, too. So, Kobato reincarnates, right? And at the end of the Kobato anime, you realize that what's-his-face there, her would-be love interest, finds her because he's gone to a house where it's a client of his, he's a lawyer, and lo and behold, there she is. She's like playing the piano or something. And it's left pretty vague what happens from that point. The Kobato manga ends with Kobato herself is reincarnated like 16 or 17-year-old trying to track down this guy who at this point is like
40
at least. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get him. And it's like, fuck's sake, kid, you're like 16. Calm the hell down.
In Clamp, love transcends all boundaries.
I know. And you know what? That wasn't even their worst.
No.
But
as for Durarara, do you know I nearly named my blog Dur?
I'm so glad you didn't.
I know. I think I prefer the cart driver.
I think it is much catchier.
Yeah.
So I guess I have none from that season.
And I don't think Day with Dur works as well as Day with the cart driver.
That does sound kind of silly.
And that's about it. That was Winter 2010. Hopefully next one won't be as long because we won't be talking about stuff that aired the previous season. Because that was like half of this one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Going forward, I think the idea is that instead of leaving it for... Well, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know. We're
Thanks
still
for tuning in.
And we'll see you next week.
Well, you'll hear us.
You'll hear us next week.
No one's going to see us, and we're not going to see you.
And we'll play you out with some... Oh God, what was the song I said we should play ourselves out with? What?
You forgot already.
It was the Heartcatch ending. Where they go, hallelujah.
Sure, you do you.